have with us Mark Clapper, now with Riverstone, formerly with AOG, one of the largest players, the largest player in the Bakken in the United States. You were called the king of shale, and now you are telling us shale might not necessarily be dead, but be much smaller in the future. We're going to go down from the peak that we just reached.
Yes, what I think will happen as far as United States shale production and really total United States production is that it's currently declining just due to lack of capital investment, and I believe that we'll see that U.S. production growth is going to fall over the next few months even farther, and probably by the calendar month October, which will be reported by the Department of Energy in December of this year, that the production growth in the United States is going to be zero, which is very, very critical toward looking at global supply demand coming back in balance. And by early next year, I look for U.S. production to actually start declining, probably to the tune of about 700,000 barrels a day year over year. So we're seeing the beginning of a change that should not be very surprising to anybody. Lack of capital investment in drilling in the United States, primarily in the shale plays, and we're going to see a reversal of the dramatic production growth that's occurred in the United States, turning into a production decline.
And if the price continues to be lower for longer, then it might fall even further. But your expectation is that because of the fall of the United States production, maybe to 8.5 million barrels next year, that will give a price reaction. The price will react to that and will go up.
Yes, what I would expect to see is that sometime during 2016, we'll see global supply and demand for crude oil come back closer into balance, and crude oil prices start to increase from the current $45 a barrel. I would expect that by the end of 2016, prices should be back up in a range of about $75 a barrel, which should be about an equilibrium price where production growth in the U.S. should turn around again from a decline and start growing back to the tune of maybe about 500,000 barrels a day growth year over year.
And you think the U.S. can sustain that for a large
number of years, maybe 8, 9?
Yes,
I think there's ample supply of shale plays where the U.S. can sustain that level of production growth for quite a few years, possibly 8 or 9 years, assuming that one would have a stabilized oil price of $75 a barrel, which is quite an assumption since oil prices are never stable for sustained periods.
Yeah. And it would not be enough to make the U.S. a swing producer in the world.
I would hesitate to say the U.S. would be a swing producer. That's probably an over-characterization. Yeah.
One small question from left field. What, in your assessment, is the industry's reaction to climate change? We heard about it in the earlier sessions today. We have a diverse group of companies looking at climate change. What do you think is the U.S. response to climate change?
Well, I think you obviously have the U.S. federal government's reaction. The administration under President Obama is certainly trying to move the U.S. toward a much more green environment. I think the U.S. industry, however, is one that is very respectful of the environment, but is a lot more cautious on taking dramatic steps in relation to the alleged climate change. I believe, and I think most of the petroleum industry believes, that we're going to be in a petroleum-based economy for the next 30, 40, 50 years as opposed to moving to a green economy. It's just a fundamental fact of thermodynamics. And so, that's kind of where I think most of the industry would come down.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.